designation is that, this perfection of giving, when he courses in the perfection of giving, to in the perfection of wisdom, he dedicates those attributes, those productions of thought, and those wholesome roots to the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment. And he dedicates so as to conform to that which the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment actually is. The mark of enlightenment. Subhuti. And what again is this enlightenment? Utmost, right, and perfect. The Lord. It is the suchness of all dharmas. Subhuti. And what is the suchness of all dharmas which is the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment? The Lord. The suchness of form, too. Of nirvana, that neither grows nor diminishes. Therefore the bodhisattva who regularly and abundantly dwells as one who is not lacking in perfect wisdom, does not review the growth or diminution of any dharma whatever. It is thus that there is no growth or diminution of the six perfections, too. Of the analytical knowledges. It is thus that the bodhisattva should course in the perfection of wisdom, by way of no growth and no diminution. Subhuti. Does the bodhisattva, the great being, awake to the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment by means of the first production of the thought of enlightenment, or rather by means of the last production of the thought of enlightenment? If, O Lord, the bodhisattva, the great being, would, by means of the first production of the thought of enlightenment fully awake to the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment, that first production of the thought of enlightenment is not in touch with the last production of the thought of enlightenment. The last production of the thought of enlightenment is not in touch with the first. When thus, O Lord, the dharmas which constitute thought and its concomitants are not in touch with each other, how do the wholesome roots go on accumulating? But without the wholesome roots being accumulated, it is impossible to fully know the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment. The simile of the lamp. The Lord. Therefore, then, Subhuti, will I give you a simile, so that you can understand this matter. Through a simile discerning people will understand the meaning of the teaching. What do you think, Subhuti, in a burning oil lamp, is the wick burnt by the first incidence of the flame, or by the last incidence of the flame? Subhuti. Not, O Lord, is the wick burnt by means of the first incidence of the flame, nor independent of it. The Lord. What do you think, Subhuti, has now that wick burnt up? Subhuti. It is burnt up, O Lord, it is burnt up, O Shugita. The Lord. Just so. Subhuti, does the bodhisattva, the great being know fully awake to the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment by means of the first production of the thought of enlightenment, nor independent of it? Not by means of the last production of the thought of enlightenment, nor independent of it. And yet the bodhisattva, the great being, does fully awake to the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment. Because Subhuti. The bodhisattva, the great being, coursing in this perfection of wisdom, on account of the first thought of enlightenment, having fulfilled the 10 stages, does awake to the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment. Subhuti. How, O Lord, does the bodhisattva, the great being, having fulfilled the 10 stages, awake to the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment? The Lord. Having fulfilled the stage of bright insight does the bodhisattva, the great being, awake to full enlightenment. Having fulfilled the stage of becoming one of the clan, to the bodhisattva stage does the bodhisattva, the great being, awake to full enlightenment. Training himself in the 10 stages, the bodhisattva, the great being, does not by means of the first production of the thought of enlightenment fully know the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment, nor independent of it. Nor by means of the last thought of enlightenment, nor independent of it. And yet he fully knows the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment. The Eightfold Path. To the depth of it mode of production. Subhuti. Deep, O Lord, is conditioned co-production. For the bodhisattva, the great being, does not by means of the first production of the thought of enlightenment fully know the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment, nor independent of it. Nor by means of the last production of the thought of enlightenment, nor independent of it. And yet he fully knows the utmost, right, and perfect enlightenment. The Lord. What do you think, Subhuti, the thought which has been stopped, will that again arise? Subhuti. No, O Lord. The depth of its stopping. The Lord. The thought which has not been produced, is that doomed to stop? Subhuti. It is doomed to stop, O Lord, it is doomed to stop, O Shugita. The Lord. What is doomed to stop, will that be stopped? Subhuti. No, O Lord. The depth of its suchness. The Lord. Will it abide just as suchness does? Subhuti. Yes, it will. The Lord. When it will abide just as suchness does, it would certainly not be unmoved. Subhuti. No, O Lord. The Lord. Is suchness deep? Subhuti. It is deep. The depth of the cognizable. The Lord. Is that thought like suchness? Subhuti. No, O Lord. The Lord. Is the thought other than suchness? Subhuti. No, O Lord. The Lord. Is suchness other than the thought? Subhuti. No, O Lord. The Lord. Is thought in suchness? Subhuti. No, O Lord. The depth of the cognition. The Lord. Does then suchness review suchness? Subhuti. No, O Lord. The depth of the practice. The Lord. One who courses thus, does he course in the deep perfection of wisdom? Subhuti. Yes, he does. The Lord. One who courses thus, wherewhither does he course? Subhuti. One who courses thus, he does not course anywhere. And why? Because in the bodhisattva, the great being, who courses in the perfection of wisdom, these habitual ideas do not proceed, they do not happen in him. 2. One who stands in suchness, nothing happens, nor can anything happen to him. The Lord. The bodhisattva, the great being, who courses in the perfection of wisdom, where does he course? The depth of its non-duality. Subhuti. He courses in by means of ultimate reality, wherein the idea of duality does not exist. The Lord. One who courses in ultimate reality courses in ideas, courses in signs. Subhuti. No, O Lord. The Lord. Has, then, by him the perception of a sign been annihilated? Subhuti. No, O Lord. The depth of the skill in means. The Lord. Has, then, by the bodhisattva, the great being, the perception of a sign been developed, or the signless been annihilated? Perception of the Subhuti. That bodhisattva, the great being who courses in the perfection of wisdom, does not apply himself thus, I will develop the sign or I will annihilate the signless. Here again the bodhisattva, the great being who courses in the perfection of wisdom, awakens to full enlightenment not without having fulfilled the 10 powers of a Tathagata, 2. The Buddha Dharmas. This again is of the bodhisattva, the great being, the skill in means, by which he does not make any dharma into something existent or something non-existent. And why? Because there the bodhisattva, the great being, established the own mark emptiness of all dharmas, enters into the 3 concentrations, for the sake of beings whom he matures through them. It is thus that the bodhisattva, the great being, enters the 3 concentrations. How, O Lord, does the bodhisattva, the great being, enter into the three concentrations for the sake of beings whom he matures through them. The Lord. Here a bodhisattva, a great being, having stood in the three concentrations, establishes in emptiness those beings who course in the perception of discrimination, in the signless those who course in the sign, and enjoins the wishless on those who course in making plans. It is thus that the bodhisattva, the great being, coursing in the perfection of wisdom, having stood in the three concentrations, matures beings. End chapter. Note: followers of the bodhisattva vehicle may get more benefit from listening to the sutras actively by reading along with a peaceful voice, and walking on a treadmill very slowly to avoid drowsiness, overthinking, mind-driven, anxiety, nervousness, fear to talk too much or too little. Keep this in mind. Wishing or dreaming to do the goodness is the first steps of doing good. It does not matter one can do it or not. It is the same for wishing to become a Buddha. Bodhisattvas are those people who vow to gain enlightenment in order to bring about unchanging happiness for all living beings. And again, it does not matter they can do it or not. Wishing or dreaming to do the goodness becomes stronger, intense than serene faith, by repeating the wish, take it up, bear it in mind, recite, study it, discuss and expound, attend to it wisely.